Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Kate. I'm an author and I also offer editing services. All my stuff's linked down below. We're vlogging today. I don't really know how to intro the videos at this point. Are we still doing the kind of like vlog series? Not really. We're just vlogging. I'm in the middle of working on my 11th book. It's going to my proofreader in less than a month, so we are in like final stages for that. Really cosmetic changes, tweaking some words here and there. I'm working on cutting crutch words currently, and then I'm writing the rough draft for the second book in the series. They're interconnected standalones, and then I'm also outlining and brainstorming for another book. You guys asked a lot of good questions on the previous vlog, so I'll save stuff for that. So yeah, to update you from the last vlog, let's see. Things are going well. Still working on the crutch words for Gracie's book. I've cut like a good 1,000 words or so far. I ended up taking a pause because I needed to focus on some other stuff. I needed to take care of some of the bonus content for Patreon for this month. And then I'm in the middle of working with a designer for a couple of different things. We're doing the banner that's gonna like go behind my table at some signings coming up. And then we're also working on the second cover for Gracie's book because there's gonna be two covers, the people one and then like a discreet version. I already have the discreet version. We're currently working on the people one. So I've been balancing all that like design stuff in the background. So the word count currently for Gracie's book, the one that I'm editing, is 105,016 words. So it was over 106 for a while. Cutting these crutch words has been going really well. And then for book 2, we're currently at 41,486 words. For those of you who ask me, like, how many words do you write a day? How many words do you write in a week? I feel like this graph is the best representation of how inconsistent I am. Consistently inconsistent. So I had a couple of really good days where I was getting like 4,000 or 5,000 words a day, and then yesterday I wrote 150. So yesterday my focus was just elsewhere. So I am hoping to write at least like the minimum word count for that one today, which my goal to finish the rough draft of book 2 is the day I'll get the proofread for book 1 returned to me. So to get there on time with my estimated 65k word count, we need like 670 words a day. So that should be no problem. So yeah, let me pull up some of the questions that you guys left on. Yes, I keep wanting to say yesterday's vlog, the previous vlog. This is a pretty common question. How do you prioritize which projects you want to work on more when you're working on multiple books? And how do you set your release dates for each book you work on? I get a lot of variations of this question, like how do you decide like what you're gonna do in each day? Like how do you organize your work? Because I'm always working on probably a few too many projects at once. It's actually pretty easy because if I have a deadline for an upcoming book and it's not ready, like all of my focus is going to go into that to get it to where it needs to be. And now that I'm working on books 11 and 12, I've just gone through this process so many times that I've gotten a good feel for like how long things take me and how much time I'm gonna need to dedicate towards those. It's easier now when I'm like in later stages with a book, and that's kind of the balance that I like to have, where I'm working on something that's in like final stages, and that's when I'll let myself start writing a rough draft. If I'm in like that first round of revisions with a book, I know it's not a good time for me to start another rough draft. If we're in two completely different parts of the process, then it's fine. Cutting crutch words and writing a rough draft and outlining, they all use like different enough parts of my brain that I feel like I can handle them all at the same time. Writing 3 rough drafts at the same time, I could never. So prioritizing which one to come next, if I haven't even started yet and I'm just trying to decide, okay, what comes next? I basically have to look ahead to the next like 3 years of my ideal publishing schedule and figure out which way I want my career to go, especially because I publish in multiple different genres. And again, because I've done this enough times, I feel like I have a realistic idea of how long something's going to take me, so I know not to jump into a project unless I can realistically dedicate like a year of my life to it. So I've known that I wanted Gracie's book to be my next focus since 2021. I knew that was going to be the next book once I finished my Marionettes series. It's been on pause for over 3 years. So sometimes that'll happen where I have a book and I know I want to write it, but it's not going to fit into my schedule for now. And I'm like, okay, this book, and this book needs to come first. So for now, it's just going to be on pause. The Marionettes I knew I needed to prioritize because they were in a series and I wanted to publish them pretty quickly together. Quickly for me, I'm not the fastest. And so coming into this new series with Gracie, I feel the same way. I want to get the books in the series, even though they're interconnected standalones, out pretty quickly. So this series is the priority, and then if I can work on anything on the side, I'll jump to it when I have a little bit of time But if it comes down to one or the other, I'm always going to come back to what my priority is. As far as how do I set release dates for the books that I'm working on, it's easier for me if I'm not in the middle of a series. If it's the first book or a standalone, that's easy because I won't set the release date until the book is pretty much done already. Like Gracie's book, I did not set the release date until we were in the middle of these vlogs. It wasn't until I had finished all of my developmental edits for the most part that I was like, okay, it's easier for me to tell how long it's going to take me to do line copy edits and a proofread. Developmental stuff is the stuff that's like, it can be up in the air and it could go either way. It could be 1 more draft or 3 more drafts. So I don't like to nail down a release date if I can afford not to until I'm done with developmental stuff usually. It's trickier when we're in a series if I want to have a pre-order up, because then I need to set the release date like a year in advance. I haven't even started writing the book sometimes, which I have had to do a couple of times and I didn't like it. I did not like doing it. So that's also why when I'm working on book 1 for this new series, I'm also like working on book 2 and I'm hoping to get the rough draft done and be a couple of drafts into it before the release of book 1, because then it eliminates that stress of having, some of that stress of having that release date in the future and me not having a solid enough grasp of how long it's going to take me to get there. Does that make sense? Realistically for me, I know I need at least like 6 months to work on a book. That doesn't mean my books come out every 6 months. Sometimes I'm working on 2 at a time. Sometimes I'm like, I'll hold it back and then I'll publish it so then the next one can come out closer together. But I know if I have not started the book yet, it's not going to come out sooner than 6 months from when I'm starting it. Sometimes longer than that. I would say a turnaround time from absolute beginning to end being 6 months would be like the fastest I could do. Sorry, I don't know why I got like really into depth on that question. So I got some questions about Cam's book. How many books do you think there might be in this series? Okay, so to clear up any confusion, Cam's book. If you haven't read my Marionettes series, Cam is a character in the Marionettes series, and the Marionettes are complete. 4 books, completed plot, everything's wrapped up in the end of book 4. But at the end of the book 4, it says, if you want to follow Cam's story, he'll be next. I'm expecting it's going to come out in 2025. So originally I thought it might be the first book in a new series. Now I'm like 90% sure it's not going to be. Once I get in there, things could change. You never know. But I'm pretty confident it's going to just be a standalone book. Standalone because it's not a part of the Marionettes plot, so you don't need to read the Marionettes to understand it. But I honestly, like, I don't want you to read Cam's book without having read the Marionettes series. It's gonna spoil the entire Marionettes series. I think you'll get more out of it if you've read the Marionettes. So it's more of like a little spin-off at the end. It's kind of like an optional book 5 of the series. Well, kind of a standalone, but realistically, it's book 5 in the series. It's just optional. Will this new series have audiobooks? For Gracie's series, as of right now, the answer is no. I'm not planning on making them for the same reasons I had for not making an audiobook for my book Broken Perfect Lies. These books are all 2 POV, so I would need 2 narrators, and it really just comes down to cost. The audiobooks would end up being like $4,000 or $5,000 each. For a 4-book series, $20,000 on audiobooks. It's not it's not an option right now for me to produce them myself. I could potentially explore other options to have the audiobooks made like in the future, but don't expect one to come out at release or honestly anywhere close to release right now. These 2 POV books, it's a completely different league than all of my other books have audiobooks because they were 1 POV, and I did royalty share with the narrator, so they would still be expensive. They'd still be like $1,000 to get made. But I don't have that option to do the royalty share if I need 2 narrators, so I would be outwardly paying for everything, which is how I would want to do it anyway. I wouldn't want to do royalty share moving forward. But again, having to pay those 2 people for a long book and having 2 narrators, it would just be really, really expensive. And I could do what I did for Bloodless Ties, which was basically like crowdfund it. I did a Kickstarter for that one. Just like realistically, I don't feel like I would be able to raise enough to make it happen, and I don't know, like I have no idea what perks I would offer, like incentives to make that happen. So I don't have plans to right now. Can you please update about the chapter you were worried about? Oh, the vlog before that one, I think I was working on like one of the chapters towards the end of Gracie's book, and it's like I'm rewriting the same chapter over and over again. It's done, it's fine. I was being dramatic. I don't know why I put you on this side today. This is weird. weird. Why did I put you over there? Anyway, I'm gonna get back to work. I've been doing crutch words for Gracie's book this morning. I've gotten pretty much through my list, but it doesn't feel done. So I'm gonna go through previous lists for previous books and see if there's anything else that I want to search for. And I feel like I just need to be able to read it in a different form so my eyes won't just like glaze over mistakes, whether that be like I change the font or I export it to a PDF and I like read it on my Kindle. Like I just need to look at it differently. I don't know what it is about that, but I can like really pick apart the writing better when I do that. So that'll be next. Actually, should we just try and knock out some words for book 2 first? We might do that. Never mind, change of plans. Do you want to see my cats? Well, one is right there. I think Maxine's hiding in the bed. I had some breakfast delivered today and she doesn't like it when people come to the door. And so if you are a member of my Patreon page, our podcast is up for the month. It's a long one, ended up being like half an hour long. These are all of the topics we go over. If you want to check it out. Okay, we're past the minimum for today. Here's our total word count. Switching back over to Gracie's book. So we have some mail. Why does this seem like really zoomed in? Okay. As you may have seen in a previous vlog, I got my first physical copy of my omnibus, which is gigantic, and it was damaged. Unsurprisingly. Maybe a little surprisingly. I had higher hopes for Ingram Sparks printing than Amazon's, but I also worried with like the size of this, and I've seen other authors with books the size of this for like omnibuses and stuff have these same issues, so I was kind of expecting it. Anyway, I emailed them and showed them all of the damages, and they sent me a replacement copy, so we're gonna see if this is any better. The damages, I don't know how well you'll be able to really see it on camera. It has these like wrinkles in this spine. It's just like the way the cover was applied, and you can see that like matte coating like coming off, and then it has this like really big, like almost like a crease here, and then on the inside too, the first page is like attached to the cover for like several inches, and it was like stuff like that. So anyway, see if this replacement they sent me is any better. I can just look at it. Okay, so it's better. Did I not have what the fuck? It doesn't have the title page. It's missing the whole first 1, 2, 3. It's missing the whole first 3 pages, 6 pages, like front to back. It doesn't have any of the front matter. It has the back stuff though. What the fuck? How does it just not have the first 6 pages? How do you mess that up? I'm baffled. The spine does look better. None of the wrinkling, you can see it. It's kind of smashed up on the corners though. It's just missing 6 pages. It like, because it's all 4 books, it has it should have a title page, a copyright page, and then the usual front matter, which is like the training schedule, the list of estates, the trigger warnings, and then it starts with book 1. This one, book 1, straight into it. What the heck? Guess I'm gonna have to reach out to them about this one too. I'm gonna have a stockpile of these damaged ones, which, you know me, will eventually be up for sale. So if you got your eyes on these and you want a discounted one with these weird little quirks, I am amassing them pretty quickly apparently. I wasn't like trying to get them in stock because I'm not going to be selling them for quite some time. Even the ones that I'm going to be taking with me for BookCon, like I'm not gonna order them here, I'm just gonna ship them straight there. So we literally only wanted to get one to see how it looked, and I have yet to get one that is correct. This one on the outside looks better. How do you mess up the file? I genuinely don't know how that happens. Anyway, do I have anything else for you for this vlog? Not really. I'm just gonna be working on Gracie's book. We'll see. Parting thoughts for today. If you have any questions for the next vlog, feel free to comment them down below. And the note I'm going to leave you on is just, if you happen to be in the United States, I encourage you to vote in this election. That's what's been on my mind lately. I think it's what's been on a lot of people's minds lately. I would encourage you to educate yourself and vote. See you next time. No.